All right. Ladies and gentlemen, how you doing out there? I hope y'all are having a good Thursday evening. Or maybe depending on where you are in the country. If you're listening on the West Coast, maybe this is, midday-ish. Okay. Thank you to my almost 500 strong who have viewed and listened to this podcast that we call A Different View. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Today has been a fun day for your boy KJ, man. Found out some very disturbing news today, and we will elaborate on it come the Juneteenth episode. For those of you on this podcast, because we're able to look at the demographics of people, which is cool. I'm all about that kind of thing, who I'm reaching. Again, and for my Christian brothers and sisters, y'all will have an issue, and that's fine. But this idea where Paul is talking about being able to speak to many, thereby doing so that you might win some. Okay, and in this case, we're not on this podcast here for church numbers or conversions and all of that. That's not what this is about. This is about providing information, going over today's topics and yesterday's topics, as they say, to be able to give clarity as far as what goes on today. That's kind of a synopsis, if you will, of what I wrote in the tagline of this podcast. That's what it's about. We don't shy away from certain things here, guys. Again, we've had enough information here as we go along, and also we'll have people kind of provide as sources as we start doing guests on the podcast and stuff like that for people to understand what's going on here. Today's deal here, this one is more of ain't no stopping us now kind of thing. That's what today's topic's going to be about, which is about labor disputes. Again, y'all know here on this podcast that your boy, not only as far as in support of proper living environments for those of the LGBTQ plus community, homosexual community, no different than those that are not of that community, okay? Again, we have to get to a certain level of respect here, regardless of whether we believe in a person's lifestyle or not. So yes, we do stand up for that here. Same thing with workers' rights on this podcast, right? This is the same thing. I was hearing the thing here, listening to another brother's podcast about gun control. I want to get this. Again, I said I'm not going to do anything during Election Day, so we want to get it out there for people in their head. May help some of y'all, right? Again, those who are younger, because there are some people on here who are younger. Again, I do suggest, I know it's hard and it might be a little fearful. Some older people might have an issue, but we, ladies and gentlemen out there, we know there are some older people who do not have an issue and they need to join the fight. So I do, for those who do like, share, and subscribe, as they say, to this podcast. Again, we don't have subscriptions here on this podcast. We're not at that level. I don't know if I will be at that level. This is not really what this is for. Excuse me. But as we go along here, so be it. Again, that's not what it is. And again, it's not that I'm saying you shouldn't be paid for what you do. That's not where we're starting from. Trying to buck the trend of what you see all the time. So we're just gonna get into it with that. Just really leads into what this is. The Supreme Court. The Supreme Court today sides with Starbucks, making it harder for those of the, all right, so NLRB, for those who don't know, because I didn't, the National Labor Relations Board, right? Or Bureau, I think. Might be Bureau. Which again, you need your checks and balances. As y'all have heard me on this podcast, I will say it for the military, I will say it for the police department, I will say it for all three forms of government: executive, legislative, Administrative, judicial, executive, legislative, and judicial. I guess administrative, depending on how you want to. Maybe that falls in between legislative and judicial. But the checks and balances in each three forms of government need to get better, y'all. Let's stop making excuses for them. See, again, they need you to screw you. It's like I put up this posted video here, just a little sidetrack before we get into this here, of the Jewish brother who is holding up a Palestinian flag in support of his Palestinian fellow brothers and sisters. Y'all, how ironic. And the Jewish woman who is challenging them on it is losing her mind. Yo, she's losing. And again, this is not to make light of those who really do, because, as I continue to learn about life, and even as I continue to, because again, a lot of this knowledge is being shown, right? Many of us don't know, right? We're learning as we go here. Even for those who've known a lot, you still learn more and more about how dark this nation really is, right? For all those who do this God-fearing nation thing and everything, you got to make something to feel so light and airy to hide that level of darkness. And oh, there is a high level of it, man. There ain't enough America the Beautiful you could sing to cover up the mess that has gone on these lands. And this is the part where people play this DID in type of environment where you separate and you don't want to go looking at the horror and the garbage. Sometimes the only way to get the thing out of the garbage disposal is to break that thing down, y'all, and pull the nastiness out the disposal. To those who are handy around the house, y'all know what I'm talking about. Sometimes you got to get involved in the filth. Can y'all do it? I know we can. But can y'all do it? Will you do it? Right? That's how this works. Ignoring the thing won't do it, y'all. So, Starbucks, right? The Supreme Court's siding with them to make it easier for them to win court orders in labor disputes. I've got to say it boldly to my workers, both in private and public sector, do not give up the fight. If you want, again, we talked about this with Labor Day during the Labor Day episode, if you want certain workers' rights, y'all have got to stand in solidarity together, legally, not causing no ruckus on your job and being disrespectful. That's not what this is about, y'all. That's how they need you to be to screw you, okay? Stop doing that, right? This is with a smile on this is for real, y'all. This is with the smile on the face, no malice in your heart, but you're just not doing wrong by me. That's all. That's all what it is, right? And we use that which we have been given, and we continue in the fight until you get what it is. It's the same thing with the Me Too movement. And ladies didn't come off it until that. And that's why all this stuff we had read a while ago about this whole overturning with Weinstein's deal, how damaging that is, because women paid the price, and they pay the price every day, y'all. See, again, a lot of this stuff that I found out here, that probably certain family members of mine and everybody would tell me, like, well, hell, KJ, man, you should have known this. Again, ladies and gentlemen, the beauty of this podcast, what's called A Different View, is I'm not professing to know everything on here. That's the trap. That's a trap, right? That's what in the Bible is called pride coming before a fall, aka being haughty, right? Because again, you're supposed to be proud of yourself. Don't let these words get twisted in your mind. You're supposed to be proud of yourself. Look at the word pride. You should have a high level of it, but you shouldn't go more higher than you ought to, right? So we just read this thing here, and off we go with the rest of our day, just to have a little short conversation. Nothing wild. The Supreme Court on Thursday made it harder for the federal government. I'm reading this from I'm on MSN.com. This is from the Associated Press. Okay, and that was the tagline we just read there. So, made it harder for the federal government to win court orders when it suspects a company of interfering in unionization campaigns in a case that stemmed from a labor dispute with Starbucks. So again, Starbucks has been the one here over the last couple of years, the one company Hey, y'all, retail workers, man, you got other companies. You know what? For the Christian here who believes that workers should have rights on the job, I know how pro-boss you talk. But for those who do believe the other scriptures in the Bible that talk about how the boss should treat their associates, and you know you're going into these stores and seeing them treated with such disdain, when do you stand up like you did in front of abortion houses? When do you do it? I'm just asking a question. We're just having a conversation. Because another one of these defenses in the mind is to get pseudo-offended on things. When do we start standing up in such holy, righteous indignation for the mistreatment of the worker on these jobs, Christian brother, sister, young and old? When do we do it like we do it in front of abortion clinics? When do we do it? Because if God is holding wrong here, that is just as wrong, isn't it? But I know, because of what church folks have done here, and y'all take offense for it as you want, but we're saying it to point out, it's got to make a point at some point. And dancing around the topic won't do it. Since you like to sip the syrup of massa, just like you did in the 1800s, being okay leaving church and going watching lynchings, just like you were, and shout out to the Christians who didn't do that mess back then. See, I know how y'all think, oh, there's some people that didn't. Again, stop with the excuses, because that's not helping. Right? That's like saying a body full of cancer cells. Hey, look at the little bit right there that doesn't have any. The body's dying from cancer, y'all. So stop looking for the excuses and let's find the solution. Do you know what the solution in this case is? You start walking in love with the folks that are darker skin tone than you on this planet. And vice versa, those who are lighter skin tone than you on this planet. This is how this works. This divisional mess we've been doing has been leading to our downfall in war. That's it. That's going back to that whole video. This brother this Jewish girl is losing her mind. She is losing her stuff. Again, y'all, they're fighting for no reason. And this whole thing with labor dispute is the same thing. We're fighting for no reason. The boss needs the worker. The worker needs the boss. Just like you're fighting your home for no reason, man, you need the woman. And vice versa to make each other whole. See, when I go vice versa, I already know what comes up in the mind because men have been such dicks to women, as I must say it that way, right? Since we have one, gentleman, right? We have allowed ourselves to think more highly of ourselves than we ought to think. And we have hurt those that are supposed to be helping us. Come on now. It's time to stop. You want stronger homes? This is to the Christian brothers now. You can't be doing enough praying on Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday with the youth group, or if you have separate thing for the singles and all that kind of stuff, right? You can't be doing that kind of stuff and you raising all kind of hell in your house. It don't work that way. It doesn't work that way, man. The justices, to continue on in this article here, the justices tighten the standards for when a federal court should issue an order to protect the jobs of workers during a union organization campaign. Again, shout out to those who listen on to this podcast that are 40, 50, 60, 70, so on. Because y'all have gone through serious, for those of you who are in unions, and I know we like to poo-poo them, y'all better stop sipping that syrup. You need representation on the job, y'all. Come on now. They doing horrible. Again, this video that we'll play here right before we end, just to bring home this point, y'all, they doing some horrible stuff to workers, man. Y'all got nobody in them stores. See, again, we went back to this when we referenced this, talking about the customer on the other side, right? So again, we're talking to consumers now, right? Of which we all are. So here you go. We're okay going in the store and buying all the products and doing all this. Is somebody packing that stuff out? It's not we walk past them all the time, right? They got on the cute little suits thinking that they high stuff. You're only getting $100,000 a year, by the way, right? The one who's high stuff is the one that y'all shaking your boots to when they come to your stores. Never mind. Never mind, man. Never mind. So you must get bold, ladies and gentlemen. When you won't get anything until you do. This goes for things in the black community, in the homosexual community, in the heterosexual community, in the white community. You know, already in the so-called white community, they don't have a problem being bold. They just sat there a couple of years ago and tore down the White House. Listen, that was the wrong way of doing it, y'all. It's time to get bold the right way, right? They didn't wreck your house through doing violence only. They made sure it was legal to do it first. That thought came to my mind a while ago. Like, for instance, to my black brothers and sisters, my dear black brothers and sisters who died this way, the horror that they went through in the 50s and so on. We like to think because we live in 2024 that certain time periods aren't too far. You sit there and you stare at people who are as old as these folks. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for that mess to stop. Talk about leaving church, going watching lynchings. That thing had to be made legal first, right? Because they could do that to those slaves without going to jail. Do y'all remember the codes? Do you remember? I know, because remembering, right? Bring it back to your remembrance. It was legal for them to do that mess. It was legal for them to kill for a lot of reasons back then. So before the action ever happened, y'all, the law and the code was there first. Work on the law part first in the right direction. Like, for instance, talking about these kids here. These bold kids standing up at Starbucks. You know, same company is okay funding death over in the Middle East right now. But I digress, right? Because it's Israel. And they got the right to protect themselves, right? Folks are not paying attention to the history of the Israeli-Palestinian war. That's the problem. All the way from the Bible till now. And you miss it because folks don't pay attention to Christianity. They don't pay attention to Judaism. They don't pay attention to Islamic belief. So you miss it, y'all. But you should pay attention. If you're talking from the Abrahamic faiths, my Christian and Jewish brothers and sisters, we're all part of one family. So why aren't you paying attention? You're not supposed to fight each other. You're supposed to be selected land, living in peace, and doing what's necessary to keep each other alive, not kill each other. That goes for the Christian with them pseudo crusades, and it doesn't matter which one y'all want to bring to me. Unless you're defending land, there's no reason we're supposed to be killing each other. Go back and look at the history of the crusades. There were a few of them. It's no good, y'all. Everybody wants to make their defense, and that's fine, because to each their own. But this is not how the game works. So let's continue. The court unanimously rejected a rule. Let's see where we're at here. 17 minutes. Okay. The court unanimously rejected a rule that some courts had applied to orders sought by the National Board, not Bureau, National Labor Relations Board, in favor of a higher threshold sought by Starbucks that must be met in most other fights over court orders or injunctions. So this is basically telling you that they're looking in search for rules in which to protect themselves, to come after the worker when they want protection rights from the company that's allowed certain managers to be horrible to them. We got to understand, y'all, doing this little happy dance we do mentally around this topic is screw. See, again, if you can screw the bottom guy on the ladder, what is to stop screwing the mid guy? And then the next one, and the next one. And this is why I keep talking about precedent on this podcast, y'all. And I know people come out with the excuse, well, bad things are going to happen anyway. And then, again, you're getting nothing because you're asking for nothing. You got to seriously ask. This is what the Bible tells you. And keep on asking. That's the way they break it down. Shout out to my charismatic brothers and sisters in the faith, man. Y'all Pentecostals. Y'all shouting and runners, man. Hey, you guys made church popular, by the way. This also goes to, like my Episcopalian and liturgical brothers and sisters, right? Y'all who have this kind of base, more somber way, there's some level of foundation there with y'all too. But man, y'all charismatic brothers and sisters, man. Laying on the hands and shouting and falling out, and especially in the black church. And again, a lot of that there coming from Negro spirituals, I know, because y'all don't want to make the connection between the two, because one is about spiritual Right, got nothing to do with God, though. But, because God is, never mind. Never mind, man. Like I said, much respect to each their own. This is not making a fun of a thing, but bringing to light that there's another view on some of this stuff, y'all, that maybe we should pay attention to. That's all. Just like you're asking people to pay attention on the other side here, there may be some things here. Okay. Let's continue on. So the NLRB, again, we realize National Labor Relations Board, NLRB, had argued that the National Labor Relations Act, if y'all want to get refreshed with that, go study that one on, online. Again, not hard to find this information, y'all. You just got to know where to look. The law that governs, and where to look is really close in front of your face too, by the way. The law that governs the agency has for more than 75 years allowed courts to grant temporary injunctions if they find requests just and proper, quote unquote. The agency said the law doesn't require it to prove other factors and was intended to limit the role of the courts. This is where you get into this thing with conservative and liberals. They put this, they put the way of a thought process in these words. Again, doesn't make you liberal because you think courts should not be involved or vice versa. And it doesn't make you conservative because you think they should be less involved or vice versa or more involved, okay? It just means you think you should have government more involved with your stuff or not. These words we got to drop, man, because they timing in on y'all using these words like left and right. And they sit back and look at you silly. Again, your value is that you think the government should not be involved in your affairs. This one thing is that to each their own on how they feel on the thing. I'll tell you this, though. If a government is going to be involved in my affairs, then that thing better be right in my wheelhouse, man. I want to say it another way, but I'm trying to not be too colorful, man. Y'all, we sit here and settle for too much, man. They take your taxes. You give them your vote. They not giving you nothing back in return, man. It's time to demand more of the government. They're for you. And that also means government on the job. It's one thing to formulate these clothing stores and eateries and all that kind of thing. But, man, they ought to be doing right toward y'all now. Come on. What are we doing? Oh, KJ, you asking for this thing to be all blah, blah, blah. You going to make everybody lazy. I'm talking to the parents and the grandparents and the great-grandparents. Y'all work too hard. Come on, stop this now, man. Y'all worked. They made y'all work too hard. Oh, that built character. That didn't build no character. It built their pocketbook. It built their pocketbook. You shouldn't have been working that hard to feed your 9 babies. I mean, how many kids you have, that is what it is, right? Again, everybody takes things as sacrilege and disrespectful. And we're not being disrespectful right now. It's just look at the other side of a thing, yo. Working too hard. They made sure you was working too hard. Then you caught a knee injury on the job somewhere or something happened to you. Now you can't even walk your babies and stuff like that. That's why I don't blame Derrick Rose. A couple years ago when the brother had all them knee injuries. And I'm a Chicago Bulls fan. I don't care. Don't play basketball, man. It's about your life. You getting paid. Yeah, it's a game. And yeah, you do think everybody don't do it like that, y'all. And on the different situations, man, take your dysfunctional need ass and go rest with your babies is the most respectful way I can say that. You know what I'm saying? Come on, y'all. Like, we having a conversation here. Hello? I don't want that man. And everybody got so upset over that. Saying what they doing with this Caitlin Clark thing. Y'all got to stop, man. Leave it alone. There ain't nothing else to talk about. You got this going on. This is more important. Anyway, to each their own, right? So again, following decision here. Starbucks said consistent federal standards are important in ensuring that employees know their rights, and consistent labor practices are upheld no matter where in the country they work or live. So that's just Starbucks' way. And again, every company got a little schmooze over, and this ain't nothing against nothing. It's business, so you got to respect it, right? Again, where are the rules set up for you? You know, man. And sometimes you got to fight. Yeah, we understand this is kind of a knock on this, and we had talked about this earlier last year. And you shouting out Starbucks and these workers and all that kind of thing. God, you get this. This is not the time. Look what happened historically, man. You got to keep up the fight. Hell, there were different violent riots these people was trying to stand up for themselves. To have less hours, 16 hours? That's how they was working? In a 24-hour day. Read some of the accounts of why they had to come. Never mind, y'all. Oh, man. Do we even want to talk about how they were paid? See, again, y'all, we keep trying to have this reality the way this is with like 90 stores everywhere and all that. Y'all don't need all that. People need to be at home. The daddy need to be at home so they know what's going on with their kids. The mama need to be at home. They know what's going on with their kids. They can pay attention to themselves and have that bath at night with the glass of wine, right? Or the man can sit in the chair and be able to crack open beer and watch a football game, right? But again, you got to do the work surrounding those events so that it's right, y'all. That's the time that you're spending out away from your families, not sitting there working for massa, getting barely enough money in your own bank account. As soon as we start seeing it, man, it's going to be cool. I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Let's continue. But Lynn Fox, president of the union, representing the workers. So this is the clapback. This is the clapback here. So you got the one, of course, from Starbucks, and they're legal. Now here's the union rep. But Lynn Fox, president of the union representing the workers, said Starbucks should have dropped the case as part of its more conciliatory attitude toward union organizing efforts. Quote, working people have so few tools. Can't talk anymore. So few tools to protect and defend themselves when their employers break the law. Some of y'all just need to let that seep in your mind, man. You don't think they are. You don't think they're doing nothing wrong to you. Think it's okay. It's for job security. That's why when you go to Walmart now, they got robotic floor cleaners and stuff. This is why, and again, to my older people here, because of course the young folks are involved. Yeah, again, the proof is in the youth, y'all. We already said that. We established that. Shout out to the young people doing their thing, man. Yo, analyze what your parents are telling you. I'm not telling y'all to be disrespectful and all that kind of thing, okay? Because this is the next thing in the mind. This is the next defense in the mind. But again, you got to understand which the source is coming from, y'all. I don't know how I was saying it, man. I don't know how else to say it. This ain't a diss to nobody, man. Again, everybody learns horrible along the way. That's how this goes. That's how life goes, y'all. Okay. And it's up to us to see where the stuff went wrong and to correct it on every level of life, no matter who it is. You do it lovingly and respectfully, y'all, but come on. If you're supposed to test the spirits, my Christian brothers and sisters, you're supposed to test the spirits. And what else are we supposed to do about family? We just let it ride. Again, I use this analogy, man. You know Uncle Joey foul as can be, man. He foul as hell, this dude. He is messing around with every family member possible on every holiday. Y'all just gonna let that slide, man? What are we? And that's what you got going on. And it's the same thing at work, man. This don't matter who it is, man. You know daddy treating mama so horribly. Y'all sit there. Now listen to me clear, because this is another defense in the mind where your current pain stops you from listening and hearing a thing. And for those of y'all who tune off, that's fine. But understand the truth. And sometimes you need somebody else to hold you through this stuff, because this is tough, man. Hey. Yes, y'all get yourself around people who are like a refuge for you emotionally, so that you can go through this stuff in your families. This is real, and it's no different than on the job, y'all. Y'all can be different, man. Shoot, you work with everybody, y'all. We work with everybody, right? You don't shut out people, man. If they got something they add to the table, you better listen. Yo, man, listen to what they saying, man. They can help you. Man. Care who you are. You can be homosexual as the pride flag is rainbow, man. I don't care. If you can help me in a scenario of life and I can help you, that's all that matters, man. We do this divisional mess and they play on us, so we make it so easy. Anyway. Few tools do the workers have defending themselves when it comes to employers breaking the law. That makes today's ruling by the Supreme Court particularly egregious. So we're gonna play this little clip here for you, and we're gonna end the day. And then we're gonna go on about our day. We in the episode we're gonna go on about our day, ladies and gentlemen, because again these topics are not. I was gonna get into some words and all that kind of stuff. We'll get down that road. Again, remember the word comfortable. I might do a little 5-minute excerpt here. Yeah. Because the word comfortable, we need to get involved. Because this is what you go to work for. You going to work for to be able to have a life here, right? Because this is what you normally hear from folks. I don't want to be rich. I just want to be comfortable. All right. We're gonna talk about comfortable. Let's let this video play, then we're gonna get that, and then we'll end here. Hold on.
A U.S. appellate court is giving a federal judge in Western New York a do-over when it comes to a decision he made in the ongoing legal battle between Starbucks and union workers. The decision handed down last month vacates a ruling by U.S. District Court Judge John Sinatra. Records state Sinatra allowed the coffee giant to subpoena employees and former employees for evidence of union organizing activities and their conversations with the media about organizing. According to the Second Circuit, that was done in error. It called Sinatra's ruling overboard. The ruling now goes back to Sinatra for further review. The National Labor Relations Board sued Starbucks in 2022 over what it claimed were union-busting activities. The company denies those allegations. But an administrative law judge last year sided with the unions, showing Starbucks violated workers' rights hundreds of times.
All right, y'all, and we are back. How did y'all like that whole little video there? Huh? What do you think? And again, leave comments, ladies and gentlemen. This is not we're not here. We're here to learn together. Okay, this is not a bashing thing. All right, we're here to learn together. Okay. I've had a lot of people, lately that we've gotten into conversations about different things. Some of us agree, some of us disagree, y'all. But again, the point is, how good can you get on agreeing to disagree? And our inability to do that, y'all, has that. Whew, Jesus, man, yo. You got to be able to agree to disagree. I don't need to kill you next because are you kidding me? Is that where that's supposed to go? You got to question. Why does that come up like that? Why does it go right? Why does that 0 to 100 happen, y'all? Everybody believes in this alpha male BS that's out there. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. When did you turn into like dogs and wolves and stuff, man? We human beings. Yeah, I understand. We share similar I get that part of it. Again, the idea is to go toward peace. That can be done in different ways. All right. Y'all need to have a good fist fight about it. Okay, we understand, but we gonna kill each other in life, man. No. You want to go to your maker and have to give an account? Why you kill whoever over what? Not that. No. Try and take your life. And I understand this is where we go to, man, these people and these immigrants coming over, so they try to take our way of life, man. What? Again, I know we do DID. Do you realize that we are on these lands where we took someone's lives, y'all? Oh, that's later, KJ. Come on, you keep going. This is what this is, guys. That don't mean you're supposed to suffer because of it per se, but come on. What? Man, that pot calling the kettle black is, that pot calling the kettle black is so real, man. All right, comfortable, right? Especially of clothes and furnishings, providing physical ease and relaxation. Okay, so again, they're talking about furnishings and stuff, but of course we know what it takes to get those clothes and furnishings, right? Money, and that's what it money. That's what it takes, right? So as large as is needed or wanted, that's another thing. Now again, I would say that people need to start timing in on more needed than wanted. That goes for us all. There ain't nobody higher than anything on this, y'all. Okay, so again. Another one of these defenses, man. Let's go to the word comfort, because that's where comfortable comes from. So, a state of physical ease and freedom from pain or constraint. When you start looking at that word constraint, it's forced. You think you forced while you were at work, yo? It's no different in your neighborhoods and stuff like that. See, if y'all want to be okay, y'all want to be done with the gunplay, man, it's time we start standing up, making them things comfortable, right? You got all these single families homes in these big cities and small cities. Again, the ghetto is the ghetto, whether it's the city or the country, man. It's the same thing. We've been over that on this podcast before, right? Let go. Let go a lot of these pre-notions they put in your head, man. They put there and man and woman, brother, sister, let it go. Let it go. The easing or alleviating of a person's feelings, grief or distress. That's another thing you're working for. See, we're going to go through stress. To those who are older who listen to this podcast, okay, this is not an escape, all right? And a lot of this, yes, we can understand, we can attribute. Oh, it seems like the youth want to escape. No. Again, you gotta balance that in the backdrop of we worked way too damn hard. Look, when we're talking about my parents, my grandparents, and so on, take the black part out of it. We worked too hard. Now, you put the black part on it. Yeah, of course they worked hard, right? And they were not allowed at certain things, which again, we're going to get into on Juneteenth, because what I found out today was sick, okay? Well, you know what it is how far-reaching it is that's sick to me. But we'll get into it. And the response that the black community needs based off this kind of information, which again starts in your towns. Stop knocking up all these women and have families whole. Buy into less baby mama drama. Let's say it this way a little bit. Now, again, we have said we're on a team. Husband and wife are on a team. Check this. Partner, right? Partner before you become married. Y'all on a team. Still, the dating process, y'all teamed up. That was it. The coach is life, right? If you're Christian, heaven, God, depending on right? And we going. Okay. Let's check this out, man. You can't be signing up to get on the team and then treat people with a level of constraint, not easing things, not easing their grief and distress, not alleviating their distress and grief, man. How does that supposed to work? It's about living in comfort. So you got to buy into doing all the things necessary on both sides, men and women, to alleviate the stress or distress of the other, and that would go for whether you're in a heterosexual or homosexual relationship, the same thing. You see way too many lesbian, and as they say, gay, for men here, again, homosexual men. Gay is happy. But anyway, so sitting there at odds with each other. And not every relationship is like that, just like every heterosexual relationship is not that. But again, on that side of it, see the beauty in these other people so that you can overcome some things. I know y'all got a problem. KJ, why you coaching him for, man? You know, I referenced that story. I just heard it. Listen to it for whatever y'all want to take. We'll just name drop now, Joyce Meyer, right? So just listen to her. I know, that's fine. Y'all say what you need to say. That's fine. But listening to one of her deals as far as the teamwork effort, man, we're on a team. Can't be knocking down each other and you on the team. How does that work? We've all watched football games where you see them two guys just arguing on the sideline during the game. You causing disruption to the gameplay. How does it work? You got to go in and out of shifts and stuff like that. All just get the stuff right. Have the conversations necessary and move on from that stuff, man. Hold up each other's pains. Bear one another. Anyway. So that's where we're at. That's where we're at, y'all. We gonna stop there. We done went 8 minutes. I said I was gonna do 5. We good. We good, y'all. We good. We good. We will continue on some of these words and many different things that are going on in today's society, globally and domestically, right? So that's what I got for y'all today. Thank you very much for walking on this road with me. God bless y'all. We will talk to you soon. And as always, look to find the beauty in a different view.